The 2026 tariff increases are not a political story. They are a personal finance story, and they are hitting your wallet in four places you probably have not noticed. Most people are aware that tariffs exist. Very few understand exactly how they flow through the economy and into their daily expenses. Today, we are going to follow the money, from the tariff announcement to your grocery receipt, to your car payment, to your investment returns. Before we get into the impact, let us be precise about what a tariff actually is. A tariff is a tax placed on imported goods by the government of the importing country. When the United States places a 25% tariff on goods from another country, importers pay that tax to the U.S. government when the goods arrive. Importers do not absorb that cost. They pass it forward to wholesalers, who pass it to retailers, who pass it to you. The tariff is marketed as a tax on foreign countries. In practice, it is a tax on American consumers. Now let's look at the specific 2026 tariff landscape, because the scale of what has happened in 2025 and 2026 is historically significant. In 2025 and 2026, the United States implemented the broadest and steepest tariff increases since the 1930s. Tariffs of 25% were placed on goods from Canada and Mexico, America's two largest trading partners. Tariffs of 34% and higher were placed on Chinese goods, affecting electronics, appliances, clothing, and thousands of other products. The combined effect is a broad-based price increase across nearly every category of goods that Americans buy, not targeted, not narrow, sweeping. Impact 1. Your grocery bill. This is where most Americans feel it first, and where the tariff effect is most direct. The United States imports approximately 15% of its total food supply, including significant portions of fruits, vegetables, seafood, and processed foods. A 25% tariff on Mexican produce does not add 25% to your grocery bill, but it adds meaningfully and permanently to the cost of those specific items. The USDA estimated that the 2025 tariffs added approximately 0.5 to 1.5% to overall grocery costs, representing approximately $300 to $700 per household per year. That's not devastating, but it is permanent, and it compounds with inflation that was already elevated before the tariffs arrived. For lower-income households that spend a higher percentage of income on food, the grocery tariff impact is significantly larger. Impact 2. Your car. This is the single largest tariff impact for most American households and the most misunderstood. The automotive industry is one of the most globally integrated supply chains in existence. A car built in America contains parts from dozens of countries. 25% tariffs on Canadian and Mexican goods hit automotive supply chains directly because the US, Canada, and Mexico have deeply integrated auto manufacturing. The Anderson Economic Group estimated that 2025 tariffs added approximately $4,000 to $12,000 to the cost of new vehicles, depending on the model. Even vehicles manufactured primarily in the United States use imported parts: engines, transmissions, electronics, steel, all subject to tariff increases. The used car market is also affected because when new cars become more expensive, demand for used cars increases, driving up used car prices as well. For anyone buying a car in 2026, financing a car in 2026, or even insuring a car in 2026, tariffs are adding real dollars to your monthly costs. Impact 3. Household goods, electronics, and appliances. This is the category most people have noticed without understanding why prices changed. China manufactures approximately 70% of the electronics and household goods sold in the United States. A 34% tariff on Chinese goods means that everything from smartphones to laptops to refrigerators to washing machines faces significant cost increases. Companies cannot fully absorb these cost increases. They pass them through, sometimes transparently, sometimes through shrinkflation or feature reduction. Shrinkflation is when the price stays the same, but the product gets smaller, cheaper, or reduced in some way. The tariff cost is hidden inside the product change. The Consumer Price Index data for 2026 shows that appliance and electronics prices have risen at twice the overall inflation rate, largely driven by tariff pass-through. Impact 4. Your savings and investments. This is the impact most people completely miss, and potentially the most damaging for long-term wealth. Tariffs create inflation. Inflation erodes the real value of every dollar you have saved. If your savings account earns 4% and tariff-driven inflation pushes overall inflation to 4.5%, you're losing purchasing power in real terms, even while earning interest. Tariffs also create market uncertainty. Uncertainty makes corporate earnings harder to forecast, and stock market volatility typically increases during sustained tariff regimes. Companies that rely heavily on imported goods or global supply chains see their profit margins compressed, which flows through to stock prices and index fund returns. Retaliatory tariffs from other countries reduce export markets for American companies, hurting agricultural producers, technology exporters, and manufacturers who sell overseas. If you own an S&P 500 index fund, you own all of these companies. Tariff headwinds affecting corporate profits affect your portfolio directly. So what do you actually do about tariffs? Because understanding the problem doesn't make the impact disappear, but it makes you impossible to surprise, and that's worth a great deal. Audit your grocery spending. Delay major purchases if you can. Protect your savings from inflation, and don't let market volatility pull you out of your long-term strategy. Before you go, I want you to do something specific, a 2-minute tariff audit on your own spending. Think about the last 3 purchases you made above $100, a grocery run, a car expense, an appliance, and electronics. Drop in the comments which category has hit you hardest: groceries, car costs, electronics, or your portfolio anxiety. Let's map exactly where 2026 tariffs are landing for this community. If this video explained something you've been feeling but couldn't name, share it with one person who needs to hear it. That's how this community grows.